I'm going to use the Casio GDC to create a histogram from a frequency table that's already been grouped. This is the example of the number of teachers in a school and their ages. Okay, so first of all, we need to go to the menu and we need to choose Stat. So you can either select it there or you can just press 2. Now I've come here to this list page. Now I need to clear this list. So the way I do that is I need to go till I press this here until I get to this menu here. See how there's an arrow? I can scroll through different things. We'll scroll through till you get to delete A or delete. Now that's just delete, but this is delete all. So I'm just going to pick that and yes, confirm that I want that deleted. And I also want to delete this list because I'm going to use that as well for my frequency. Now list 1 is going to be the age. Now if you want to on this, because you can create so many lists on this calculator, you can have heaps and heaps of lists. Like there's 26 lists, but there's also 6 files of lists. If you want to check that you're using the right one, you go here to Shift Setup, and I'm currently using file 1, so I'm quite happy with that. You can also create a subheading so you don't mess up with your list. So I'm going to create a subheading here called age, and the way I can write that is I go to Shift Alpha and then type. So Shift Alpha, I'm going to type using these letters here, age, A-G-E, just so that I remember. And then on this list I'm going to put frequency. So Shift Alpha, and then I can type, I'm just going to put FRQ for now. FKQ, what? Oh, well, never mind. So now I'm going to enter the age. Now because the data is already grouped, I'm going to have to put the midpoint. The data is grouped in years of 10, so it's 20 to 30 years, 30 to 40 years. But on the Casio, I've actually got to enter the mid age. So 20 to 30, so the mid age of that group is 25. And then press this button so that it enters into the table. So 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. That represents the mid age of the group data. So the frequencies now enter that in. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 3 was the data that I was given. So now I'm going to create a graph. So if I go back to this bit, did you see I press that and go by that? I've got graph and I've got calculate. So to graph it, I need this function here, graph, and I can create 3 different types of graphs. So first of all, I've got to set this up. So I go to set. Now, if I scroll down to here, graph type, you'll notice I've got different graphs. If I scroll through, histogram, box graph, bar graph, all these different graphs. But I want a histogram. I've lost it. Where is it? Here it is, histogram. So I'm going to press hist for histogram. Now I'm going to make sure these are the right lists. Now you see, if you haven't got the right list, you can change it by pressing here. So I can change and ask you which list are you working on. And of course I'm working on list 1 for the age. And I'm working on list 2 for frequency. Okay, so list 1 is my X list, the particular list I'm working on, the frequency. Once I'm happy with that setting, I press exit and go back to here, and I was setting up graph 1. So graph 1. Now it says start. I'm starting at 25. Remember that was my starting point. Now my width, I'm going to make that 10. Okay, now once I've done that, I mean you can experiment with that width if you like, but once I've done that, then I press and that's my graph. That's the histogram, but obviously it hasn't got any labels or anything, but I want to be able to see the data. I need to go to this point here that says trace. To get to that, I've got to go Shift F1, and then I can trace and move across to each part of this histogram, and it gives me the information. That gives me the midpoint, remember, and this gives me the frequency. So there's 5 teachers between the age of 20 and 30, 4 teachers. Okay, so this one is 3 teachers between the age of 60 and 70, and that gives you the shape of your graph.